You know, the amazing thing about this podcast, Suds, is that it seems like people who aren't even in the league are following it.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? I'll tell you, just today, I was walking one of my clients' dogs out there, and this, like, 60-year-old, I could have Japanese Chinese lady out there. She goes, "Oh, I know you. You're famous. You on YouTube." I'm like, "Really? DCHL?" She goes, "No, mini me."
You know, I don't normally think of you as that short, but I guess we'll live with it.
That was 20 years ago, lady. Get a life. Watch a movie.
So everybody on Sunday, call him Mini Me. The first person to do it gets a 5-minute major.
I have to give him a
So I guess we're not as popular as we thought.
No, I guess we're not. But we're back here. And, by the way, welcome back, Andy. We missed you last week.
No, you didn't. You didn't miss me. You had Scott to cover for me. But that's the way it is. It just shows nobody here is expendable except nobody here is indispensable except maybe Suds to this operation. He's the one who does all the work. So
well, you know what? It's funny because we get a lot of heat. People like, "You didn't pick us." I'm like, dude, we give you the 4 weeks in a row. The one time we don't pick you, we hate you. Come on now, chill out. And by the way, guys, what we do here is never programmed. It's everything is done on the whim. Like that show. What's that? Whose line is it anyway? Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, everything's made up and the picks don't matter.
And that's why it's so bad. You know what I mean? That's
Haven't you figured that out by now? We stumble on each other's lines all the time. It's part of the fun.
And you still watch us.
That's the scary part. You think this is actually something worth watching. I don't understand it either.
I have no clue. Anyway,
but we continue with we continue to provide entertainment for the untold dozens out there.
And don't forget, we'll have a special guest coming on in about 20 minutes or so. I won't tell you who it is right now, but I'm telling you, he's the most eligible senior bachelor in the league. And he's going to be here. We have actually have an intro music for him as well too. So don't go away. The most eligible guy, and all the single ladies out there, I know you don't want to miss the second one out there, so make sure you tune in about 20-25 minutes. We'll come back with a second for you.
Suds has lost his mind. Everyone knows I'm the bachelor in this group. Okay.
All right, we're going to go now to week number 5, right?
Week number 5, and this was an important week. It was the first week where somebody actually clinched what playoff they were going to be in. In fact, two somebodies.
Don't tell me. Let's find out, right? Let's find out.
Exactly, but got to set up the situation.
There you go.
And it started with Game 1 on the DCHL network, which was the 5-minute majors coming in at 2-0-2 against the Untouchables at 2-2. You can find this game if you know where to look.
Right here, or right there, or right here, or right. I think it's even here. It's in here somewhere. But go ahead.
Is everybody comfortable in there? This was a game that was kind of a little difficult to watch. It was very good defense, but at the same time, there were some shots you just thought people had to make, and they didn't. And that's kind of unfortunate. Also, there were difficult parts to watch because we were operating the main scoreboard, and everybody saw that. We got to operate the main scoreboard. Unfortunately,
we have a scoreboard now. Everything's like ready to go. Yeah, we got everything ready to go now at Rockville, which is awesome.
The only
get up and hang it, buddy. Get up and hang it.
Oh, there we go. The only unfortunate thing is that I had to be operating the camera and the scoreboard and doing the commentary and probably selling popcorn and sodas if they had those.
Exactly.
So
we blame it all on Rob because he's not here, and then as a result, we blame it all on Ovi. So it's all Ovechkin's fault. It's all Ovechkin's fault. But go ahead.
Isn't that sort of the league motto? So, as it turned out, that meant that probably we missed one of the goals. The goal to open the third period, I don't know. But I do want to say a great game by Todd. Had both of the goals. You got to see that the majors...
I'm sorry, that's Todd Elling. We have so many Todds. It's Todd Elling.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to say that. Yeah. There were very few shots that actually hit the mark. This is very much a bogged-down game. The majors have shown once again that they play fantastic defense. Something to think about. They have allowed no goals on 16 shots over the past 90 minutes of play.
The majors to me are a poor man's NWO. Okay, maybe a rec version of NWO.
Oh, they seem to be doing a lot better than that. But.
I mean, obviously, but they're playing in the rec division, so I think you could probably we'll see what happens if they go up to pro. But first of all, on that game, Untouchables, I got a lot of heat. I had to eat crow last week because I picked against the Untouchables, and they scored 6 goals. And I said, and then Jay's like, give us some love now, and I came back the following week and said, no, you're gonna lose, and I was right. So sorry, Jay. instant goal scoring out there. Obviously you guys play hard. You guys play great defense. It was a tough game to lose. You guys played very, very well. But difference is, 5-man major have a couple more scores than they do.
And I think this was more of the majors dictating pace than anything else. We've seen in the past that the majors can shut down just about anybody if they want to. And we're going to have the untouchables, for example, if they want to run with someone, they'll run with someone. They're more of an amorphous team. They sort of adapt to their opposition. The majors are probably the best at dictating pace we have seen maybe even among the 16 teams.
That's a very good point. That would work as well, too. Next game?
Our next game, all right, for those of you who follow us on Facebook, and if you don't, why not? One of our colleagues came up with the idea that we're going to be having Memorial Day weekend sort of an iron tournament. Mm-hmm. You're only allowed to have, 2 subs?
2 subs. 2 subs max.
We got a preview in the next game.
Oh, that's right, we did. Actually, it was actually worse because I think Scabs only had 1 sub.
Scabs only had 1 sub.
The entire game.
Babylon Warriors weren't doing much better. They only had 3 subs.
Exactly.
There were jokes going around that we should just start playing Chariots of Fire over the 3rd period. It showed. Everybody was tired, but amazingly, the scoring came in the 3rd period. That was the strange part.
Yeah, actually, the floodgates opened up in the 3rd period. I think it was, 3 goals or 4 goals in the last 2 minutes. I'm not sure what it was.
Something like
that,
At
least 3. It was at least 3.
There were 2 goals in the last minute. I can tell you that right now. It looked, for a split second, like the Warriors were going to steal this one on the basis of having a bench that the Scabs didn't have until Carlos Cruz, I think his name is, with 2.8, something like that.
Seconds, yes.
Just under 3 seconds left. Ties it up at 4. We go to a shootout. The shootout is perfect blanks, so the 2 teams will each get a point out of it.
And just to give you a feel for that game, initially looked like the Scabs won that game. They had a 1-0 lead going in the 3rd period, if I recall correctly, and suddenly I think it was 2-0, and then the Warriors came back with 3 goals in a row. Then it went back and forth. So both teams had a chance to take control of the game. Momentum swing both ways. And the last team that probably gets on the foot, probably points lost, was probably the Warriors because with about 9.8 left or so, they had a chance to clear the ball. They couldn't clear it, right. And then bang, bang in the net with 2 points to go. Right. So it was a great game to watch, actually, for a team that was shorthanded out there. And that game was in memory of the Afterburners. Inside joke.
That's the way it is.
Inside joke.
Yes, big inside joke. Next game was sort of the opposite. When we had the Scorpions in an absolute must-win situation after being humiliated, really, by the majors, turning around and playing L2T. Now, the secret to the Scorpions is they have one guy who is a sniper, Gordon Franken. He was not there.
Yeah.
But they have a ton of players who will put forth so much effort.
Yep.
You do not get a free ball against them. Very few times is there an icing in their game because they will be chasing the ball. And there were several times that it showed, but the team ran themselves ragged. Both teams ran themselves ragged. It was a shorthanded goal for the Scorpions. Very same penalty, a power play goal for L2T. And then it was Todd Beacom. That's his name, right? Beacom? I think. What was it? Beacom?
Todd Bascom.
Todd Bascom.
Goalie?
Yeah.
Yes.
I must be thinking of someone else. Anyway, came out of nowhere, started going crazy, had 33 saves on the day. Scorpions had all the chances, couldn't do anything with it. Ends 1-1. Once again, we go to the shootout. This time both teams get a goal in the shootout. Sorry about that, everyone. This time both teams get a goal in the shootout, and we end once again with honors even. So, what you see here really, what you see here is trouble for the Scorpions, that they are reliant on basically spamming the goal in order to get anything in.
No. If I may interrupt there, I'm going to give you last week I was a little harsh to the Scorpions, justifiably so. This week I thought you guys played very, very well. You guys played together. You guys forechecked. You guys didn't self-destruct. You played a system that worked, and you were the better team actually in calling your chances out there. Except as Scott, your captain, said, he didn't. Of course, Todd, the goalie that was filling in for L2T, was he's a Ranger fan. So Todd was playing like Henry Lundqvist basically the entire game, so he basically stole points from you guys. You guys had the better scoring chance as well too. So both teams played well. Both deserved the points. The overall play was much better dictated by the Scorpions, and I think both teams, had to be proud of themselves at our cards on.
And we'll discuss this later, but that could be very devastating. You wouldn't think of the Scorpions as being a promotion playoff team, but this could have wrecked their chances because they had a favorable run in coming in.
Exactly. And that game again went to a shootout, and I think it was a 1 goal inside for the shootout.
1 goal apiece, yes.
Yep, and they ended up in tie. So there you go.
Now, this leads to Game 4, where you had an absolute must-win situation for both teams, NWO and Blood Red.
A game that was picked by Suds last week.
Absolutely, both teams needed to win. Both teams needed something to go on. And now I think it's time to start asking the questions. Now, Blood Red was fantastic at Sidwell when it was 4-on-4. They struggled at St. Albans when it's 5-on-5 and it's a little larger.
Correct.
Move them to Rockville where it's really large, and we've seen what happened here. This leads to the question, is this a team that can handle, heavy, crowded area, or, the large... I guess the question is, do they have the wheels to be able to compete in a larger arena?
Andy, that's a very good question, because that's a very great observation. Number one, when they played at Sidwell 4-on-4, they had enough speed, the way the team built up, they had an advantage at Sidwell. Go to St. Albans, they lost some team speed in 5-on-5, took away some of their advantage they had in terms of agility and speed. Now at Rockville, it's too much open for them, I think. It's just the opposite. So you're right. Maybe Blood Red is better fitted for a Sidwell type 4-on-4 situation, because they didn't do well over at St. Albans 5-on-5, and 5-on-5 in a bigger arena, they're struggling as well too. With that being, good check. With that being said, if I can make one point here, I thought Blood Red played probably one of the best games of the season this past week. Their best game was probably against the Ducks, where they had a lead for about 2.5 periods and they couldn't hold it. But this is probably the second best game they played overall. They played together, they played hard. I didn't see any glaring errors. They weren't ball chasing. They played a lot better than I thought they would. I want to give credit to the NWO. They played better.
They did. They played a fantastic
NWO played
game.
A great game, so it wasn't Blood Red lost this game. I thought NWO won this game, personally.
They did.
So there you go.
Credit to Roderick, who was playing in the second of back-to-back games. And something to bear in mind with Roderick, he was something like 45 for 46 for the day.
Wow.
And it was
unbelievable.
It was just, again, going back to the score, it was a shame they didn't have a shooter.
Yep.
Because he deserved to get 2 wins today. He only got the 1 win. It was a 4-0 shutout. NWO absolutely is back in with a shout for the DCHL Cup and for Sud Bowl 10. Blood Red now has to be wondering if they should be holding on for dear life if they can stay up in the Pro Division.
I believe Blood Red is now definitely in the bottom 4. Guaranteed.
They are, but as you know,
relegation,
yeah. It's not the bottom 2 that go down. It is the losers.
Yeah. You know why?
The
Because
bottom 4.
we want to make the playoffs matter.
Right.
Playoffs matter.
And you might say that's a bit too much, but it adds to fun both ways. Anyway, Game 5. This one was interesting. Now, in the past, we have joked about how the Ducks have had lucky breaks. They faced Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai was without their best 1 or 2 players. They faced Blood Red. Blood Red was out their best 2 players. They faced the Snake Eyes. The Snake Eyes were their best 23 players. So suddenly, here they come. Here come the Puck Buddies. We're looking forward to seeing what Jake can do. And Jake is stuck in traffic. At this point, the word voodoo is being tossed around on the sideline.
See, Andy being a statistician, follows all these quirks which I can't follow, so he knows about who plays what and who's there full time or not. And you wonder if the Ducks would get an advantage here, and they did have an advantage for a while there. Early on, it was 2-0. With only 1 sub, I believe, for Puck Buddies.
It was 2-0 after the first period.
And then suddenly, walking in comes...
Here comes Jake.
And then the game turns around.
It does. Turns immediately. The wheels fall off for the Ducks. You can see they don't have an answer for his speed. They don't have an answer for his skill. And, Peter D steps up his game. Ryan had 2 goals on his own. Jake had a hat trick. The Ducks suddenly didn't look like they had any answer. And not just that, but I heard the chatter on the sideline. About halfway through the second period, the Puck Buddies were telling each other how to beat Sean in goal. So not only is this...
So they had an angle. They had an angle, apparently.
Oh, don't worry about it. You can be as famous. It's okay.
They apparently had a... What was he inside? Don't share it.
No, I don't want to share it. I'm just going to say...
don't share it.
This just shows, when you're dealing with the... separating the great from the excellent, they can make the adjustments mid-game. They talk to each other. They figure it out. And you know what? That's what happened here. They found what was going on, and Sean really had an issue for the last 2 periods, and it showed.
So we'll stop the tape right here for 1 second. We're back in 2-2. Back in 2-2,
right.
guys. right, folks, we're back here. Before we go back to our recap of our games of Week 5. We have a special guest today. He's the most eligible bachelor in DCHL. We have a new name for him called the Boy Toy. He's the Boy Toy of DCHL. He's here, and I want to give him the appropriate introduction as well too. So, I spent money on this, by the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, from 2 Jacks No Coke, we present to you Jason Sticka. Jason, welcome aboard.
The Boy Toy of 2 Jacks No Coke. That's right.
This is what we come to, people. This is what we become.
Is he a sexy boy? Isn't he your boy toy?
Feel free to exit out of the browser that you're currently in at any point.
Cut the music. Cut the music.
Please,
cut
for the love of God, cut the music. So what we were discussing before we had our run-in.
By the way, Jason, I spent $2.97 on batteries just for you. $2.97 on batteries just for you. Because I love you.
Probably not a wise investment.
He's proud of this. That's the sad part. As we were saying, the Puck Buddies found a way to solve the Ducks goalie, and that is the scary part. Is that they were able to do that. It was, like I said, it was 2-0 Ducks after one. The game ended 6-3 to the Puck Buddies. Do the math at home. You can just find out for yourself how crazy things were.
Got it. You know what? There are moments when you have I call those light bulb moments. To me, this was when I'm doing the awards at the end of the season and looking at nominees. This was a light bulb MVP moment. Jake walks in, down to nothing. Jake scores the goal almost immediately out there.
Yes.
The game turns around. Puck Buddies win. That to me is an MVP moment, personally.
Yeah, he took over the game.
You would know what that means, but it's okay. We'll explain to you later on what that means by that.
All right, I appreciate it.
But Lucy would know what that means. Your teammate would know what that means.
Exactly.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Right. Back to the next game.
The next game, another game found on the DCHL network, is the Snake Guys against the Chiefs.
Yes.
Now, I wasn't here for this prediction.
Chiefs, I predicted they're going to win the first game ever, and first game of the season, and they did that.
Yes, they did, and they didn't just win; they dominated.
They did.
They dominated possession. They dominated shooting. The Snake Guys were just completely disoriented. I'm not entirely sure what happened there.
Well, Snake Guys are one of those teams where if they're not exactly an offensive team, they have games where they look horrible because they can't score goals or put shots on goals. And I figured if you're going to pick a team to lose here, this is the chance to pick against Snake Guys, and I was right. They had a pretty bad offensive game. Couldn't put shots on goal, couldn't generate offense in general out there, and John was spectacular.
Yes,
the goalie for Snake Guys was spectacular. Otherwise, it would have been like an 8-0 game. In reality, out there, there were at least like 7 or 8 breakaways.
There were.
Watch the game, YouTube Network. I think it's somewhere in here. The link here for the YouTube game is somewhere here, or somewhere in there, or somewhere over in this shirt. Watch the game. It was a great game to watch. John was spectacular, and for the first time that I ever know of, Andy and I just agreed the fact that John should have been the #1 star for a losing team.
Yeah, this was the first time, anyway, among featured games that that a player from the losing team came out with a top star.
Correct.
And totally earned. He had 30 saves on 33 shots, and a lot of them were pretty good shots too.
Yes.
And honestly, he was the only player on that team that looked into the game. And I'm going to call y'all out here. I don't even give a damn.
That's Andy Goss at gmail.com, something like that.
Anyway, I don't care. I'm going to call you out. You looked sluggish out there. You let them dictate the play. You put them. You didn't even put up much resistance there. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was with the Chiefs. Next week when you play Blood Red, if you play like that, it's going to be a massacre. You can't let them do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the dude for Dylan bandwagon, the wheels came off this week. So maybe we have to find a new motivation for the Ducks, because Dylan had one good week, and now he's not having a good week right now.
Yeah, if it's all for Baby Dylan, they crapped this one out.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
I will say that a put down from either of these guys is probably considered a compliment amongst the rest of society. So keep your head up.
There you go. Keep your head. Hey, a positive comment. I like that.
Hey, I have to.
Yeah.
You've known throughout this podcast, I don't care. I call people out. I tell it like it is, and I try to be honest with you. I'm not trying to insult anyone here.
Good point. We're having fun. I got to analyze. We gotta, and part of analyzing is to say things that are sometimes negative. That's part of the job. Game number 7. Okay, 7. Okay.
And it was number 7 on the schedule. It was probably number 1 in quality for the term of the season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good game.
We had the Cobra Kai and the Funkmaster Redux. I've been talking about the Funkmasters all season.
He's a funk guy.
Yeah,
funk guy.
I've been talking about how they can compete, how they can compete with the best teams. Here comes Cobra Kai in desperate need of a win, and we know the talent they have. They are the defending champions, And
they had the full roster today.
They had their full roster.
Excuses.
No
Both
excuses.
teams had their full roster.
And they played a magnificent game.
It was a great game.
And
terrific game.
It calls back to mind the Tacoma semifinal that these two played.
Yes.
These two teams mesh so well together, and they play, that they play a coherent.
That's correct. I'm sorry to interrupt that. You're right. It was. Didn't we say the fact that when they played last, that was a great game too?
It was.
So our two best games we've had, I believe, this year are both Cobra Kai and Funk. So you're right about that.
They fit very well together. They, both teams are, have plans. They have, they have people who have roles. It's too bad we didn't tape that, because I would say watch it and you can learn from both teams. And I know that when the Funks played the Puck Buddies, that game's out there. You could catch some of it from there, but the Puck Buddies were clearly head and shoulders above. Here, it was not that close. The Funk Masters were able to keep themselves in the game. They were able to show that they have enough talent to steal.
They do. Funk can be any team. On a given day, they can be any team.
Right.
They also lose to any team as well too. They're kind of in and out sometimes. The quality of play, the speed, the skill level, the intensity, most of it was clean, was great. And I mean the balls moving really fast. If you want to see a good pro game, that was a game to watch. And Andy's. I like Funk too, but I don't think Funk are the team to beat. Andy's a big Funk guy. Maybe if we get Keith in here one day and maybe have a kiss his ass just to make sure it's still there.
I just think they're clearly one of the 4 best teams. And they're clearly going to be a perennial playoff team.
Oh no, yeah, they always play top. I'm a Funk guy, but I'm not picking them this season to win it. So FYI.
Well, I'm not saying it's an absolute pick, but I'm saying that they can't be written off.
No, absolutely.
That they have a puncher's chance to win that title.
And Jordan, yes, you still need consistent. Jordan, the goalie, consistent secondary, tertiary, and quaternary scoring. I don't think that's the word. I made it up last week, so I could quaternary scoring as well too.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
All right, tell you guys, get consistent scoring. You will not be in the top 2 or 3. Good.
But today they got their scoring. Today they got a lot of help. Keith was able to get help from his teammates. In fact, I don't think he had either goal, to be honest with you. So.
Did he have one goal? No, maybe he didn't. No, he didn't. I know that Nick. Did Nick have one?
It was Nick and Mara with the goals.
Oh, Mara. That's right. Okay, awesome.
And that just shows what we're going with here. It shows that they're starting to get their secondary players to pick up. And if they can get everybody on the same page, they will be a very tough out, and they could throw a monkey wrench into the DCHL Cup.
They're a team that want to play the playoffs.
Right. As for this game, now let's get back to the game for a second, shall we? I mean, why start now? It was a fantastic game. You had Cobra Kai was more on offense, but you had defenders who were selling out for the Funks. Mike for Cobra Kai, the offense ran through him. He was consistent. He was dominant when he had the ball. On the other end, you had.
Still doing all right?
Yeah, we're doing fine.
Wendy?
Give me a Coke.
Is Pepsi okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that, everyone. On the other hand, on the other side, you had Simon and Jessica, who played defense, who were able to block shots. You had, you had Mara sneaking forward. You had Caroline.
A great goal by the Mara. Great goal too.
Yeah. You had Caroline, who was always around the ball. You had, you had Matt and Patrick doing their part. Jacob and Jordan in goal were making good saves. It was just a fantastic game all around. I can't praise everybody enough. I'm going to be honest with you.
I want to give Simon some love here. I think Simon has become, maybe I haven't noticed earlier, but become a very good two-way defenseman. Push the ball. He has definitely helped the blue line out. So I always say Simon doesn't score enough goals, but Simon's playing defense. So give him a little bit of break there overall. Other guys like Nick. Sean have got to score goals for them. Yes. That's good key out there overall as well too.
This game ended 2-2. Shootout was 1-1.
Yes, great game. And now the game that I'm sure Jason here can probably clue in on as well too. The last game of the night.
Last game was Jason's Jack's team taking on the Street Sharks, and this was very interesting because this was one that it looked like was going to be a blowout, and it wound up almost being a scare.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened? You guys had a big lead.
You tell us.
Oh, I have no idea. I blacked out the entire time.
You really?
No, absolutely not. Like you guys said, we got up early. We were up, I think, at 5-1, 5-2 at one point.
Yeah, I think it was 5-1 at one point, yeah.
Yeah, and, we were, not to take anything away from the Street Sharks, they played a hell of a game, especially in the third period, scoring those goals to pull within one. But we were, on two Jacks, we were short-staffed. We were barely running two lines, if I remember correctly, the number of people we had. So I think fatigue started to set in, and, give the Sharks credit again, because they took advantage of, defensive lapses and players being out of position, and, they made a rally there. I'm just, I'm glad that we were able to hang on and get the win and secure second place.
Absolutely. 5-4 final. I want to give a little to Adam, the Street Sharks, who had a hat trick.
He did. He played very well.
Played very well. Really sparked the comeback. Lucy had an incredible goal.
MVP.
No, it's still Jake. You know that.
Female MVP. Female MVP.
No, all around
female
MVP.
MVP.
Let's not limit it.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And as I told her,
I don't think Andy's a voting member, is he? Right? He's not a voting member.
I'm just
okay.
I'm just a vote. I'm just a
only
just
one. Oh, it's a voting committee of one. Me. So
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna play hell with the numbers.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Lucy had an incredible goal. She was up at the top.
Short-handed too, wasn't it?
Short-handed.
Yeah.
She was left all alone. After that, the horns went off, and to quote a really bad pun that I told her as she came off the bench, it was Lucy in the slot getting sirens. So.
Wow, that was pretty bad.
It was.
That's pretty bad.
Once again, folks, if you want to exit out of your browser at any point, we already have your
There's also
view,
a mute button
so
too. You can actually mute it if you want to. Eventually, we'll have Spanish, Spanish and French versions going across the world too. But you can definitely.
Now wait a second. You're the one making all the snide comments. Suddenly, I make one joke and I'm the bad guy.
Now, I want to give some love to GJX No Code. For the second week in a row, they had diversified scoring. You guys you're getting scored from everybody out there, which is great. Used to basically be Lucy, nothing else, but now you're getting scored going from when Ari's there. Ari does very well. He's only done a couple of games so far. In fact, Ari, if he should play a couple more games, has a chance to be the Mario Lemieux champ, points per game average. Mick is doing well on the power play. Frank has, I think, chipped a couple of goals, if I recall correctly. You guys are getting. Ben had a goal too. Captain had a goal as well too. You had an assist.
I did.
I mean, he doubled his point production in one game. In 4 games, in just one game. So we tried to give him 2 assists, but he was courteous and no, I only had 1. I'll take it back. So give him credit for that as well too.
Yeah.
No need to get greedy.
Yeah, but he knows that everything goes through Lucy. So she's the star of that team overall. But it's actually she may be the star, but you guys are a very good team. You guys play hard. You guys chip in. You guys work hard. I always kid about Lucy being a great player, but you have a lot of players doing a lot of good things out there. If they didn't do it, she wouldn't be able to shine. So a great offer for you guys. One of only 3 teams who don't have a regulation loss in DCHL. So congratulations. In second place, up not winning 1 game last season. And again, I think I asked you last week, quickly while you're here, what is the turnaround, do you believe, from last season? This season, is it the bigger rank? Is it just more continuity, better team chemistry? What is the turnaround from Jackson Coke this season now? Obviously, it's not you, so I know that's that. But what's the turnaround?
I'm there just for looks, really. So clearly,
boy toy.
Yes to all of the above. I mean, Mick played goalie last season. He did a good job, but moving him to forward, I mean, he's provided scoring for us in a big way. The addition of Sean in goal has really, stabilized, between the pipe, stabilized the game between the pipes, and again, improved consistency. I mean, we've been playing together for this is our second season now. Most of us, we did pick up a couple free agents like Ari and Rosa and stuff like that.
And Michelle.
And I mean, everyone's just really gelled together really quickly, and I'm real impressed that every week we seem to be doing something a little bit better than before. So
very good point. You know what? I also want to give a shout out to, sometimes we forget about this, but you have good leadership. Ben, Kelly, Lucy do a great job keeping you guys calm, cool, collected, organized, quiet, strong. Sorry, leadership. And there's a lot to say about that. But the leadership
that can be difficult because I know
I think so. Yeah.
In the heat of the game, there are some players out there who have their own short fuse, and that's something you really that the captain needs to step up and do, and that's what they do. So.
Oh, absolutely, and I've been known to chirp at a player or two on the opposing team.
You?
But, yeah, exactly,
really?
right?
I don't remember. Do you remember?
It's amazing.
Well, I mean, if you're playing against the Street Sharks, it's not exactly unheard of.
No, but I mean, there hasn't been any, broken bones or fights or anything like that, yet. So
things I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear.
So, I'm all for a physical game. Let's just not let it get out of hand.
Physical meaning instill contact. I think that's
physical meaning you should duck every time you're out there and I have the ball.
Yeah, if you're shooting, definitely duck. Now that was the recap, and if Andy can go over to give the standings out there we have right now, and tell them what's going on with the standings.
I don't have the full standings for the Pro Division. That's the unfortunate part.
I know what it is, but go ahead.
I can tell you right now that congratulations to the Puck Buddies. They've qualified for the DCHL Cup and have a chance to make it Sub Bowl 10 in however weeks time. The Ducks are in second right now.
Correct.
The Funkmasters hold on to third.
Correct.
And in doing so, by the way, now suddenly they're looking pretty dangerous.
Okay.
And you're going to see the Funk Masters and the Ducks play coming up. And we're
Big game.
That's a big game, and we're going to find out which of those teams is for real.
You know what? I think Ducks, Puck Buddies, and are definitely in that 1-2 bracket. Funk right now is 3, and Cobra Kai is currently 4, right? Mm-hmm. By time, but NWO is coming. They're coming.
NWO is only behind because of head-to-head. They're in 5th.
Yeah, but they're coming. They're coming.
The Snake Eyes, I believe, reside in 6th.
Yes.
Blood Red
is stuck in 7th. But barely, because that's because they beat the Chiefs. They're tied with the Chiefs, actually.
They beat the Chiefs, yes.
Yeah.
Both of those teams only with the 1 win.
Got it.
And that's kind of a scary thought if you're Blood Red.
And so basically, the way I read it is right now, I think Blood Red and the Chiefs are pretty much done with the. They have no chance to make the DCHL Pro Cup. Well, it's very little chance, if any. Snake Eyes are a real long shot. And it's really a 5-team battle for the Pro Cup, and one of those two teams, NWO, Cobra Kai, or Funk, probably will not make it. So it's going to be a great battle for those 3 teams for 2 spots for the top-level DCHL Cup program.
Now, in the rec division, 5-minute majors are in.
Yep.
They're the 1 seed.
And you know what? Again, a game that I think the first game of the season was 5-minute major against 2 Jacks No Coke, and they won that game in a shootout. That shootout win is what is keeping them in first place.
Right.
Over 2 Jacks No Coke. So they're unbelievable game. That could be a big swing for them this round.
Yeah, and that's a surprise. We didn't think it was going to be that at the beginning of the season.
2 Jack will be 2-6. It'll be 5-5. It's actually now a first place point.
Right.
I'm noticing that the amount of love you give to Jack Snow Coke is directly proportionate to my presence here.
Oh, is that right? No. Apparently you don't listen to the podcast. Yeah.
You can't see it on camera, but he's quivering right now. He's really shaking in his boots.
The camera's right here.
Yeah, we'll have proof.
Okay.
As we said, just 2 Jacks in second. Then things get really complicated.
That's basically everybody else.
Yeah. But you have 5 teams going for 2 spots at this point. You have the Scabs ahead of the Street Sharks on a tiebreaker. 1 point behind in 5th is the Untouchables. Behind them, the Babylon Warriors and Scorpions by 1 point. So you have 5 teams within 2 points of each other.
Battling for 2 spots.
Yeah. Nothing is out of the question. And then you have L2T, who's a good 3 adrift of even the closest team.
Are back. But you know what? L2T's playing better. They stole a point against the Scorpions. They stole a point, I think it was a couple weeks ago against somebody else they played. They're playing better. They're definitely playing better. Against 2 Jacks No Coke, actually. They're playing a lot better. So give them credit for that as well, too. They're not that far off. But you're right. As John Roms put it, and I think it's Ken's out there are a lot of Jekyll and Hyde teams in the rec division. Besides 5-minute major and 2 Jacks No Coke, every other team, it's like 1 week they look good, 1 week they look bad. It's a lot of Jekyll and Hyde. And that goes to Scorpions, the Street Sharks, the Scabs, the Babylon Warriors, and the Untouchables. Now, the Untouchables, they're a new team, so I'll give you a little bit of a buy there. But other 4 teams, I'm a little surprised by that, but it just shows you it's comparative, and whoever's there, whoever had bad games, it's up and down.
And the bigger surprise, I mean, you look at those 5 teams, and, you say the Untouchables, they're a brand new team. The Scorpions had incredible turnover. What's the other 3 teams' excuse?
Which ones?
Well, the Scabs, they don't exactly have new players. They know all each other very well.
I think what's happening with Scabs now is the fact that they can score goals, but now they're finding out that when teams play defense against them, they tend to get a little angsty and take chances, and their defense gets exposed. So I think people just see it as a counter effect on the Scabs personally, which we worried about originally, and we're seeing it now. Before they were outscoring teams. Now, when they play against a good defensive team, they can't score. They go too far in and
here come the counters.
And that's what's burning them right now overall.
And you watch the game. Todd did that all the time.
Yep.
You have the Babylon Warriors, who I think are right where they should be. Honestly,
I notice the fact that if they had Alex start the season, they'd be a lot better off. Alex and JP are clicking. A good 1-2 duo now. I think Alex had at least a goal. 2 goals last week overall. He's scoring points in both games to play out there. So I think they need a secondary and tertiary scoring as well too. And I think Mike Set Dog and Alex and team play together, they'll be okay. But you're right. They are where they are right now. As Bill Potts says, you are what you are. And they are what they are right now.
And then you have the Street Sharks, which is probably the biggest mystery. Here you have. Let's think about all the advantages they have. They're a young team. They're a deep team. They all know each other. This is practically in their backyard. In fact, they keep running when insisting it's their arena.
It's a Shark Tank.
Everything is pointing towards this team being the sleeper hit, and here they are, 1 point ahead of the playoff line, having slept through 2 periods against 2 Jacks No Coke, having botched a win against the Scorpions.
They play aggressive, but you know when you play that way, sometimes you leave spots open. They're a team that runs and guns, and you're gonna get a lot of chance to score against them. You know, the Street Sharks focused on defense a bit more. They're gonna be better off, but I'm okay with that. You know, it's a rec division, having fun. So you don't want you to sit down and throw something together out there. So I think the Street Sharks are more of a running gun team.
I guess that would be it
overall. Okay, now we normally have buy-sell, but I don't remember which 4 teams we have left to do buy-sell. Do you remember which 4 teams we have left to do? I don't remember what they are. So we'll set for next week out there.
Yeah.
Overall, I want to talk a little bit about, since Jason's here out there, overall,
yes.
About the happy hour. Thanks for coming last for the happy hour. Appreciate that.
Had a blast.
If you didn't come, you guys missed it out. And I'll tell you what, I'm trying as a commissioner to be more involved with social activities, so I can get to know the players, get to know everybody out there.
Much to the detriment of the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. To him, actually. But, you know.
Much to the detriment of the bar tab, too.
If you, oh my God, yeah, the bar tab was, what was it? I mean, I don't want to know about it.
All I know is that I'm pretty sure you're dipping in the DCHL slush fund.
No, that was long off. The first round of shots out there. I was such a...
Go on, shots! Give me 40!
Yeah, I think I bought 2 rounds of shots, and the tab was a lot, put it that way. It was a lot. I think it was like 35, 40 shots that I bought actually that day. But
put it this way, there were more shots than a Scorpions versus Blood Red game.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, there you go. But if you want to, meet people and get to know people and hang out, and this is what the meeting's all about, come out to the social hour, come out to the happy hours, have fun, because, I always say, I don't know everybody in the league out there. I know the names, but I'm getting to know people now. I'm getting to know people overall, and that's fun for me as a commissioner. I want to meet you guys. If you want to meet me, talk to me, get to know me and everybody else in the league that plays in the league.
We want to know as many people as possible. I mean,
absolutely.
It might be physically impossible to learn everybody in the league, but we're going to try and figure out as many people as we can.
But it's up. We can't get to know you unless you come out.
Exactly.
And the people always come out. I appreciate that. I know them very well. And when we joke around, it's fun to know the people that play out there. So it's good out there as well too. Which reminds me, I want to send a well wishes to Carrie Polsky and Carrie G. They're both sick, so hope you guys feel better. Carrie Polsky played today, and she won for the night at JCC. So she played tomorrow as well. To hope you guys are doing better, and we'll see them both at our next outing, which is going to be the Memorial Day baseball game, which you go on to Nationals and Orioles.
Yes.
Go O's.
I don't have a dog in the fight, so whatever.
And I'm not spend too, but
I'm not going to be here for that one, so that's okay.
So come out to that. Come out to the come out to the Memorial Day Sunday tournament as well too. We have to pick up on MDHL on Saturday as well too. So there'll be more happy hour, more things to do out there. Come out, have fun. If you can make it, don't. Yeah,
let's be honest.
Make it out there.
This is a holiday weekend. If you have family to see, if you already have vacations, we get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not gonna hold it against you. We're not that kind of guy. I mean, what do you think we are? The NHL? Actually, that's not fair. If we were the NHL, we wouldn't be having games right now.
All right, now we can go to next week's games.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Next week's games. These are all very important games. And
chime in. We'll do a 3-way here, okay?
All right.
In fact, I'm gonna take a bye. Okay?
You're gonna sit out of this one.
I'm gonna basically just jump in at the end and do my other. But I'm gonna take this schedule right here. Okay. It's gonna be Jason. Let's see how much to do about the league out there. Jason and Andy.
Oh boy.
Gonna call odd or even, and whoever team you get, you tell me why they'll win that game. Okay.
This is a terrible idea, but go on.
All right. First game. Odd or even, Andy?
I'll take odd.
Odd means you have Cobra Kai against NWO. Why would Cobra Kai beat NWO? Go ahead.
The reason Cobra Kai is going to win is that they have better shooters. You're going to look at the players the NWO have. When they're on offense, they're getting better at this, but at times they don't know what to do. And when that happens, you'll see Mike go through and say, "I have to score on my own," and that's not always a good recipe. Cobra Kai, they have a plan. They are one of the most organized teams in the league. So if they don't have any idea, they can always fall back on something that they have practiced, they have trained at, and be able to get something out of that. You look at the goalies. I don't know whether it's going to be Jacob or Ryan or whoever's going to be in goal, but they have very good goalies for Cobra Kai, and they are better than the goalie for NWO. Roderick, I love you. I love having you on the team, but you are not at Jacob's level. That's just the way it is.
Okay.
So
you're saying that Cobra Kai is a better overall team?
I think Cobra Kai is not just better. I think they're more organized. I think they have better ideas of how to score.
NWO. Why would NWO win this game? By the way, NWO is for life. Good.
Now, if he doesn't know anything, you have to jump in.
Yeah, I'll jump in.
MWO is going to win because of the exact opposite of everything he said.
I guess that means it's your turn, Suds.
NWO playing very, very well. This is the acid test. I call it the acid test. You know, they've beaten Blood Red in the slight upset. They beat the Snake Eyes. Or, I mean, what did they beat before that? I forgot who they beat before that. But it was they beat the Chiefs. So they've won 2 in a row, and they're looking to get in the top 4. Well, this is the game that will tell us if they'll make it or break it. This is basically their playoff game, in my personal opinion. So, and NW is getting goal scored not only from Mike now, they're getting goal scored from Jim, other players as well too. You got Chris Emmon impressed very, very much as well too. They're getting a lot more goals from everybody else as well too. They're playing good defense, which helps as well. So I think NWO, if they continue to play a team game and get goal scoring for everybody else but Mike, they'll be fine. But I think Cobra Kai has the edge, obviously. But I'm not picking Cobra Kai here, though. I'm not picking Cobra Kai. I think it's going to be a great game to watch, and it can go either way. We'll see what happens. It'll be a great game to watch.
There we go. Okay. All right. Who do I have next?
Okay, now it's Jason's turn. Pick number now. I need to pick odd or even.
Even.
Street Sharks against TM.
No, FM.
FM. 5-minute major. Okay. So why will Street Sharks beat the 5-minute major? And you know about teams. You've actually played about teams, so you can talk about that.
Street Sharks are due. Quite honestly, with the rally they put together against us, nearly tying the game up in the third period. I really think karma, the universe, however you want to put it, owes them one. So, they put together a strong effort against us during this week's game. I think that effort will transfer over, and they'll pull out the win this next game.
Okay. And what about you? You got 5-minute major, a team that's currently in first place right now.
I do. Well, here's how I look at it. The Street Sharks have a very similar style to the Scorpions. We saw that when those two teams played. They were both, they played exactly the same game, the physical, end-to-end, full-running, devil-may-care style. We've also seen what happened when the Scorpions played the 5-minute majors. The majors figured it out and shut it down. Shut it down about as hard as you can. So the 5-minute majors have seen the style before. They know how to beat the style. So the Street Sharks are going to have to find a way to be patient, and they're going to have to find a way to get their shots. And looking at some of their players, I don't think patience is one of their strong suits. This is a team that gets frustrated.
They are. They're a go-go team. They're a go-go team, yeah.
And they will get frustrated here. Something is, I'm asking right now. I'm not saying that something will happen, but I get the feeling that if there's a situation where things fall apart, I want to remind you, by the way, Street Sharks in a game back at Sidwell, actually, when it was a promotion playoff game. It was not going their way, and the last act that Street Sharks had that season was one of their players trying to break the ankle of one of the opponents. You remember that, right?
No, I didn't see it that way. I didn't see it that way at all, actually. I saw 2 players going at it. I saw 2 players going at it overall, so I don't think that's what happened. That's a personal.
I'm talking about. We're probably talking about something different. I'm talking about. This was, like I said, this was back at Sidwell, and I think it was against the Scorpions, actually, now that I think about it. Scorpions just won the game, and as the buzzer goes off, a player who, let's be fair now, this player is not in the league.
Oh yeah, that was I saw the incident that player lost cruel temper. That's not the Street Sharks in general. It's one player who was completely not part of the Street Sharks mainframe of players out there. So, and in fact, give credit to Street Sharks. They said that player should probably be out of the league, at least for a while. So I think it's just an isolated incident in general. I don't see any of the Street Sharks that tells me that they're falling apart. In fact, I think they're just a good team. They have fun. I don't see any negativity in that bench. They know that it's recreationally. I don't see anything like I see with a couple of teams that we're not going to mention right now, obviously. You know what I mean? That we saw a couple of weeks ago. I see nothing at all to tell me that they're falling apart. They have fun. They do well. If the Street Sharks play defense here, I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm not a big pick and upset here, but I'm going to call it's upset alert. Upset alert right here. If Sharks play their game and they play solid and focus on defense and don't overcommit, I think they have a chance to beat 5-minute major. So that could be my upset alert pick here overall. I got to pick against 5-minute major somewhere. This is probably a good chance to play against them in this case. So Sharks have the offense to do it. They have the offense to do it, so I think it's possible as well.
They do, but do they have the discipline?
Yeah, it's going to be defense. Yeah, exactly. Defense is style, so it's going to be good as well too. All right, next game number 3. Chiefs, CH, and Puck Buddies. Pick a number, 1 or 2.
I'll go with 1.
Which is Chiefs.
Oh boy.
So why will Chiefs beat the Puck Buddies?
Well, this is the hardest sell of any game when you have the last place team taking on the first place team.
It'll be convincing now.
Yeah, but how will the Chiefs beat the Puck Buddies? The first thing they're going to do is they're going to commit to defense. You're
going
to have.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt here. I thought I was going to say, first thing I'm going to do is tape Jake to the bench and lock him up and cage and cheese eggs out there so he can't play, right? That's number one, right? That's number one.
I would go there, but I don't want to. I don't want to advocate anything. They're going to need players like David, like Matt, like Josh, like Steve to hold the fort back there. They're going to put emphasis on defense, to make sure that there's no flowing play, because that's where the puck buddies are the most dangerous, is when you get people like Jake and Peter out in the open running the floor. But if they need to do that. The next thing they're going to do to beat the puck buddies is they're going to get the ball on Paul's stick as often as possible. He is one of the best shooters in the league.
And playmaker, too.
And he's a playmaker.
Yeah.
And when he is paired up with Ruben, as he often is...
By the way, don't worry, we'll just find out that later on. Playmaker, someone who makes passes, gets assists.
Oh, that's what that is.
We'll do a special tutorial session for you later on.
Yeah, just show me the
diagram.
The diagram.
Let's go back to Andy right now.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Andy.
When you get Paul and Ruben working together, we saw it against the Snake Eyes. It's a dangerous combination, and that's what they need to lean on. They need to lean on Paul and Ruben working together. They need to make sure that their defenders are all committing to defense, and they're going to get a little luck. The reason I say they get a little luck is that you have players like you have players like Jason in the back, and you have players like Peter. You have players who play fast and sometimes play reckless. And if there's one thing we know about the Chiefs, it's that they know how to take advantage of a reckless opponent and convert it to power plays and convert those power plays to goals. They are so good at that. That is going to be how they win this game.
Good point. Now
that said, if you start diving, I am so going to run over to that bench and strangle people.
Puck buddies. Why will puck buddies beat the Chiefs?
They're in first place, right?
They are.
Okay, yeah, there you go. There you go, enough said. Also, I like the name.
There you go.
All right, give me a real reason.
Puck buddies, the most complete team in the league. Obviously, I picked against them last week, and I learned the fact that to be careful, because even though teams may have offense, they play great defense, and they shut down a Ducks team who actually played very, very well. But Ducks' weakness was transition defense, and they did show that. So they're a complete team. I expect them to be in the finals, barring an upset. They'll do well. The Chiefs, they'll score goals, but I think, again, they have some weaknesses on the transition defensive side, on the forechecking side, on the backhand side. I think the puck buddies are the perfect team to exploit that. I expect puck buddies to win this game pretty easily. I also want to give a shout out to a player who I don't think gets enough credit out there. She plays actually at JCC as well too. I mentioned her, Carrie Topolsky. A great player. She actually plays more offense nowadays, but a terrific player overall. Plays both ways. Knows the game. Very skilled. Not a fancy female player, but a solid female player. And those are the players that the puck buddies have. Except Jake. There aren't too many fancy players, but they're solid. Just a solid team in general.
That makes sense.
And that's why they're going to beat the Chiefs as well too.
Okay.
Next game, odd or even?
Even.
Okay. It's going to be...
That's the Scabs, I believe.
That's SP. I know. Yeah, I think that's it. Scabs. Why will Scabs beat Leicester? Well, you've seen both teams play.
Oh yeah. Well, the stars are aligning a certain way in the universe, and that's gonna, the cosmic rays are gonna come down, bless them, and they're gonna win. No, I just think they're gonna play harder. They're gonna play harder. I'm a big believer in effort wins games, regardless of, what your record indicates. And, we're nothing like the NHL, but, they say in the NHL on any given day, any team can win. And I believe that's the case in our league as well.
I beg your point. I think it's too hard to pick games, especially in the Red Division, too. Red Division, it's anybody's scrap up there. Yeah. So, Scabs have more offense than L2T do. If Scabs can play defense and not give away breakaways and John's on his game, they're the favorites to win this game, So I think that definitely would be a great pick overall. L2T, you have L2Ts to defend here, Andy. How would L2T win this game against the Scabs?
All right, first off, Todd, you did it once, you got to do it again.
Todd's on a goal.
What's that?
Todd filled in. I expect Chris Ships to be back. The new goalie they have should expect to be back after so.
Well, he's got to step in and do exactly what happened then.
Okay.
The next thing you need is you're going to need your shooters. You're going to need them all to be there. A guy who doesn't get enough love this league, Kirill. He is a bruiser, but he is also a guy who starts plays.
And by the way, he's a Russian who actually scores goals, unlike the other Russian who plays in the AHL called Alex Ovechkin. So, Russian scores goals, Russian doesn't score goals.
Can't go an entire podcast without.
It's an observation. It is what it is out there. By the way, did you guys know that I heard this actually 2 days ago. I'm sorry to interrupt there, Andy. I apologize, but I think it's out.
No, you're not sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
2 days ago, I saw an ad. I was actually over at Chick-fil-A, right?
That's what it's called.
Yes. And there's a sign at the van that's saying, "Eat more chicken, less Ovechkin." So apparently there's a new Caps and Chick-fil-A association we'll see next season as well too. FYI.
No writer, folks, but he probably needs one.
Hey, we don't need no. I like that. L2T. I'm sorry. Why would L2T win out there?
Well, as I said, first off, their goalie is going to have a good game.
Okay.
Scabs, depending on who shows up, are straightforward. Carlos is a scorer. Francois is a scorer. Then what? That's the key. Then what? If those two are not producing, they got to rely on other players. We did not see Owen against Babylon Warriors, and I say that literally. He wasn't there, but he is not the guy who can create his own shot. Second, like I said, Kirill. They have players like their captain David, players like Andrew,
yes.
who are able to get shots in if they're open. So they got to take advantage of the defense, and I'm going to say right now, the defense for Scabs is still the question mark because a lot of those players, to be honest, I see times when the defenders have deer in the headlight looks, and that's what they got to do. They got to come at the defenders, get them to get those looks, get them to wonder what's happening, and then the next thing is when that happens. Now we saw this when the Scabs played the Jacks. That's going to get the goalie John upset. When he gets upset, when he goes on tilt, he's off his game. That's when things start good. That's when things start to snowball. So the key, I would say, is you get the early goal. You pressure the defenders to make mistakes.
Good point.
Then, when John sees his defenders aren't helping him, he starts thinking he has to do more. He gambles.
Yeah.
He overcompensates. That's when things happen. That's how L2T has to win this game.
You know what? You made a good point. The only way L2T is going to win this game is if they get an early lead. They got to get the lead, and then basically make the Scabs make mistakes.
Right.
And that's the way they can't go punch for punch. They can't counterattack. They can't come back. They have to get the lead to win this game. And you know what? L2T may be in last place in rec, but they're playing actually pretty well. The last 3 games. I mean, they had one sticker game in the last 3, but 2 of the last games are pretty good. So I like the way they're going. They're scoring more goals now. They're getting more shots on goal. So they'll be okay. They'll be okay. But obviously, I can't pick them this game. I mean, but you know what? The way Scabs are playing, you just never know. So again, upset alert. But I would say more like this Chief will beat 5-minute major than L2T beats the Scabs.
All right.
Okay, game number 5. Your turn to pick, Andy. Odd or even?
Even.
Okay, Fuckmaster.
No.
He loves Fuckmasters.
Very disturbing.
I mean, I'm telling you.
Against the Ducks, I think it's an easy pick.
Fuckmasters or Ducks. So why would Fuckmaster beat the Ducks?
Fine. You want to be that way? I'll go with the Ducks.
No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right.
Fuckmaster it is.
Because this is a team that plays very strong defense. You look at the Ducks, and you see a team that puts everything into offense, puts everything forward into play.
I'm only kidding.
And
it's very beautiful.
they have great shooters, but when those shooters get stopped, they give up a lot of counterattacks. You saw it against the Puck Buddies.
Good point.
This is a team that gets weakened, and they cannot handle superstars. Keith is a superstar. He will have the best game in there. I'm predicting right now he's first star in the game. I'm going to go even further. Predict he's the first star in the game. Because this is a Ducks team that works at their best when their chemistry is better than their opponent's chemistry. Nobody has the kind of chemistry the Funkmasters have. They have each other's back on every play. I have never heard them argue with each other. I have never heard them get into any sort of fight. And that means that they're not going to get rattled against the Ducks. They're going to be able to come back. They've come back before. They came back against NWO. They came back against Cobra Kai. So everything the Ducks have had going for them. You look at the games that they won. You look at when they upset Cobra Kai. You look at when they beat Blood Red. What were the keys to those games? 1, the players they had to worry about were no-shows. That's not going to happen. The Funkmasters are always there in force for every game. 2, the shooters were able to beat the goalie. If Jordan plays as he's capable of, that's not going to happen. 3, they were able to dictate pace and go full-on running. Well, you know, the Funks can play full-on running too, and the Funk Masters have better stick handlers, which means they can dictate pace if they want to. This is the kind of game where everything the Ducks do well, the Funk Masters can stop.
So you think it's the ideal match for the Funk Masters?
I think this is a very ideal matchup, and I think you're going to see, combine this game with the Puck Buddies game, you're going to wonder how the Ducks got to 4-0.
Wow, he's really not how the Ducks is. So now you get to do the opposite. You got to tell me why Ducks will win this game against Funk Masters.
They're going to win this game just to spite Andy. That's what they're gonna do.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to help Jason out here as well too. The Ducks have offense. Funk doesn't have enough offense. So the Ducks going to win this game. They're going to outscore Funk Masters, which I think is very possible here. Even again. The goalie Sean played pretty well actually. I'm not Sean. Sorry. Yeah, it was Sean.
Yeah.
Sean played very well actually overall. So I think they got to outscore by one. My one concern for the Ducks is I think their defense. They actually move people back on defense. Blake plays defense, and Luke plays defense. They actually play pretty well on their own end. What I'm seeing now the Ducks is neutral zone transitional play here. They're getting beat a lot in the neutral zone, where they commit maybe too much to the offense, and the neutral zone guys don't tie up. You see a lot of 3-on-2s go against them overall, and that's how the goals are being scored against Ducks right now. It's not the defense; it's a transition. It's a center or the forward, left wing, whoever's not coming back is costing them. They're overcommitting out there. They're taking too much offense, not being responsible enough. If they fix that, they'll be okay. That's what I'm seeing as a problem with the Ducks right now, overall. And I think you're right. A team like Funk can expose that, but I'm going to go against you. I'm going to pick the Ducks to go against to beat Funk
Because
Masters.
of course he is.
No, because I think Ducks have more. I'm not convinced Funk can score enough goals. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced at all. Ducks will outscore them in my personal opinion. So.
Now, I happen to remember which game is next because it's the DCHL game.
Okay, it's a DCHL game of the week?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And because of that, because I'm going to be calling that game, I'm going to pull a Herb Street here and not say anything.
So I'll take that. So you get to pick between
let him have his own team.
Okay, you have a choice. Oh, okay. Two Jacks, no Coke against the Untouchables.
How are you going to win that game?
Against the Untouchables.
How are we going to game? We're going to win because, we got Lucy, number one. I think Ari is expected to be back too. So basically,
That's a big move. If Ari's there.
That is.
Basically, I believe we got better scoring. I fully expect to get at least one more assist as well. Maybe a goal in there.
Triple production.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm not sure if a laptop can keep that stats.
All you
it might blow up. It might
all
blow
you pro
up.
teams out there looking to recruit, I have a 200% increase in points from last season right now. So, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay.
But I think we got the better scoring, and I think in goal, Sean will definitely stand up big for us as he has every game. So. Those are my two main points. There's others, but I'm not gonna.
You want to toss something in there quickly before I go to the Untouchables?
Well, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to be calling the game. And the last thing I want people to think is that when I call the game, I care about one team winning or the other.
By the way, folks,
I don't even have time to think about that.
But I'll say it over and over again, guys. If you think whether we call the game or referee the game, when I call the game, I don't really know who's playing. I just call what I see. So there's absolutely between Rob, Neil, and myself, there's absolutely 0% in the background what we call. We just call the game to see that.
And when I'm calling the game,
we have no clue who's playing. I should be honest with you.
Now, of course, when I'm calling the game for the cameras, I do know who's playing, but I don't care. I don't care how the game turns out. All I care about is that it's a fun game, that it's an exciting game. Let me tell you, the worst thing I want to see is something like the game the Untouchables had against the 5-minute majors, because there was absolutely nothing happening. I would rather see a game, even if it's a blowout, where both teams are pushing forward, than see a game that is close, where both teams are hanging around and playing for a draw. So that's just where I stand. And when I call this game, I'm not looking for one team to win or the other. I'm looking for both teams to play forward, play positive, have fun, produce some excitement, give me something I can talk about.
And with that, I'm going to the Untouchables here. Untouchables, again, I want to give a shot to them because number one, they are a brand new team, pretty much a free agent team, and every free agent team we've had in the first season either has not won a game or really has been pretty bad. They're the first team, always going to do Jacks No Coke, actually won. One or two wins.
They have 2 wins.
They have 2 wins.
They're 2 and 3 right now.
2 wins. And they're actually in 5th place, if I recall. Like 5th or 6th place out there.
As of now, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's impressive for a team that hasn't played together. And they actually, give credit to Jessica Narad and to Jay Hunter, the captains. They go to practice. They actually go for practice on Saturday mornings. They also preach a system. They're about positioning hockey. If you watch them play, they don't have great skill to scoring goals or taking passes, but they play so well positionally. They back check. They come back. They hustle. They know where to go. The body may not get to what they want to do with the ball, but their mind is still moving and their hearts are moving, which is credit to them as well too. So they're gonna play tough. And I'm telling you what, Jason, they're gonna be tough to beat. They will not give you easy goals. They're gonna make you earn it. They have a good goalie as well too.
I will say that there is a chance that they could beat us, and that chance is if all of Two Jacks No Coke decides to carpool together, and then we get stuck on traffic on the 495. That's how they'll win.
Wow,
that's how they'll win.
But you know what? With that being said, they still don't have, goal scoring is a problem, and Two Jacks don't play good defense. You guys play great defense, team defense, and you back check as well too. You can goalie back there. I find it hard to believe that, with that said, that Untouchables can outscore Two Jacks No Coke. So with Ari being back, I gotta pick Two Jacks No Coke in this case as well too. So I'm going with that as well too.
All right, next game.
Next game, 2 more to go. Back with Andy here. No call here. Actually, it's your call. Odd or even?
Let's go with odd this time.
Actually, you're going to take a bye here. This is the game you're playing.
Oh, hey, well,
So
now wait a second. Now, in that case, give me my team. You gave him his team.
No problem. Okay, that's fine. So Scabs. Why will Scabs beat the Babylon Warriors?
Are you serious? Did you really just say
I'm sorry,
that?
I mean Scorpions. What's the SC? I think Scabs in my book. So the way you do the initials, the way I do my initials for my league, is a little different. So it's the Scorpions.
One job. One job.
Scorpions against the Babylon Warriors.
Well, here's what I see in that game. I see, when it comes to the Scorpions, a lot of players who run all the time and who will force your opponents to run. Babylon Warriors have not exactly had the depth that they've had in the past. Mm-hmm. There have been times when their team has been very shorthanded. I don't know if this will be the case this time, but even when it isn't, they're not a team that is accustomed to running for 45 minutes. The next thing, JP is more or less the only consistent shooter that they've had for most of the season. Now, Alex has come on lately.
I was going to say, yeah.
Alex, but he hasn't been there the whole season.
But he's there now.
So he hasn't had the time to get acquainted with the rest of the team. So as a result, the question is, is this third game, is this going to be when he blends in perfectly? Because I still see out there that he does a lot of individual stuff.
Okay, fine, go ahead. I'm taking notes a second. I can counterpoint here. Go ahead. Okay, keep going.
So you have Alex who does things on his own, JP who does things on his own, but then what? And so you get those two together, and you have to play the X in the center for your first move. That's generally how it works. You get those two, and if you can put players on them, the Scorpions have a defender in Brian who can shut down someone. So he picks a target, and suddenly the other player has to do it on his own. That's never a recipe for anything good. Meanwhile, when the Scorpions have a chance to shoot, you have Gordon, who can score, who is a scorer. You have Sean, who with his speed, you saw it, he blew up, got the shorthanded goal, he got the shootout goal last week. He can produce. And even if they're not in there, you have workhorses. You have workhorses like Scott, like Chris, like myself. A lot of players who you just can't ignore. There have been like at least a dozen times this season where icing has been waved off just because one of the Scorpions decided to turn on the Jets at the right time and make darn sure it was waved off. You throw that in there, you have a team that has incredible effort, that works hard for 45 minutes, and they can make anybody get tired. And the Babylon Warriors have shown that they are a team that tires. I think this is a game that's going to be won in the third period, and I think that's why the Scorpions are going to win.
Okay, fair enough. Before we get to the other team, I'm going to disagree with Andy especially on two things. First of all, Alex has got like multiple points in the 2 games he's played. So I think he's doing pretty well in 2 games he's played overall. Plus, he's played with a line with JP, and the JP was also getting assists and getting assists as well too. So I disagree with Andy there. I think Alex is already showing that he's got good chemistry with JP, and they're a good 1-2 punch. So I think they'll be okay. Now going to the other side of the argument here, Babylon Warriors. Why will Babylon Warriors beat his Scorpions?
Because he's on the Scorpions. I'm sorry.
I love this league. I really do.
Yeah. -5, right?
-5.
Yeah. No. I think they're I think they're gonna outwork you guys. You said that they're gonna get tired easily, but I really don't believe that. I think they're gonna not run circles around you guys, but I think for the 45-minute time period, they're just they're gonna outlast you.
Babylon Warriors are a team to me that my first impression is you know what I mean? like I don't have an impression on them, which means they're not really a scoring team, not only a defensive team. They play hard. They're not really a forward-checking team. It's all, that's what they're an ant team. So I have a hard time picking them. I have a hard time picking against them. It's easier to pick against them actually because they are an ant team overall. I think Alex and JP are doing very well together. I think if Mike Sekdog gets involved, he's there, they'll be okay. But my concern with them is they need more than one line. And right now, JP and Alex are playing together one line, so they need a secondary line to score goals. I don't see that right now. They got great females in former Miss DCHL Irene, and Bridget as well, along with Jess Shahan as well too. So they've got great females. I love the females. And they have a good goalie in Todd as well too. Todd's got to be standing on his head again to do well. And he said on Facebook that hasn't played very well for the season for that team. So they're going to have a rebound game this week around. Can they beat you guys? Absolutely. Overall, to me, it's not a question of whether they can beat them. It's a question of which Scorpions team show up. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team. Right. So if the Jekyll shows up, they may lose or they may win. You don't know. So which will the good score or the bad Scorpions? That's going to be the answer here.
And this is a bigger game than you think. You can say, oh, well, they're the two teams tied for 6. What's the big deal? The big deal is, we've already said the 5-minute majors are favorites over the Street Sharks. We've already said the Jacks are favorites over the Untouchables.
Yes.
Let's assume those two games turn out the way they should. Suddenly, the winner of this game on 8 points vaults both of those teams into fourth place because this, depending on what the Scabs do.
Okay, got it.
So, yeah, you know what? This game has playoff implications. The loser is most likely out of any chance of promotion, out of any chance at winning the rec title. But the winner is in with a shout with 1 week to go.
Got it. Well, it makes sense. That should be a good game to watch overall. And we'll see how it plays out overall for you. One more game to go for this week, for week number 6, which is the second to last season of the week of the season overall. And before I get that game, I do want to pick up a good point here. There's still some confusion on when icing is waved off, and I'll make sure I clarify that, guys. And again, different referees have a little different variation. The way Neil and I do it overall is, if the ball's rolling too slow, icing is waved off. If your defender had a chance to play the ball and missed it, it's waved off. Okay, and also if the opposite player clearly has beaten defensive player, then it's waved off too. So the only time it's not waved off is if it's the ball's clearly behind the play and both pillars are equal out there. It's not waved off. So there are situations where it's waved off. Make sure you understand that, and that's why we wave things off overall. And also, icing is a judgment call. It's between the linesman and the referee, both referees actually. One referee makes eligible, and the back referee can waive it off. That's how it works, and the person who makes it eligible usually just doesn't waive it off. A lot of people have come to me saying, "Why don't you waive it off?" Because it's not my choice. Neil's the guy who waves it off out there, and vice versa. So you have to understand how it works, guys. And some people have asked me to change icing to more of an NHL rule. Not happening. The international is how it's going to be. It's safer as well too. So please make sure to read the rule book on that. It's not a majority. I think only some people have asked about that in general. That's the only issue we had with officiating last year was icing. Everything else actually went very well last year.
And I'm also going to say right now, this goes back to one of the points I have with the Scorpions, and something that you would see if if we had taped that game. Guys,
hustle.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Keep running. You run to the whistle, because there have been times, and it's not just in our game, even though I bring it up. There have been times in a lot of games where the defense has assumed it's icing.
Yeah, they've
slowed down. The offense runs right past them, and suddenly they've got a chance.
Yeah, I'm not going to wave icing off if the Scorpions guy, they dump in. The Scorpions guy is the only guy there going to get the ball first. Why would I wave icing off? You know what I mean? So people have to hustle. Keep hustling. You're right. Playing defense.
Exactly.
Hustle. Make an effort.
Exactly.
It's key about this game overall. All right, last game of the night. Odd or even?
Odd.
Okay. So you get Blood Red against Snake Eyes. Both teams are struggling right now. Blood Red have lost. They've been shot 2 weeks in a row. I think they've been shot 2 weeks in a row, right?
I mean,
they lost to Funkmasters. Were they shot at Funkmasters?
I don't remember. No, they weren't.
They got one goal.
They got goals.
Okay.
The key
one
though
goal in
is
2 games.
The key here is though, this is a game to keep their playoff hopes alive for both teams. So
they're already dead. I mean, Blood Red's I think are almost dead. Snake Eyes have more of a chance than Blood Red does, personally.
Well, more of a chance, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, it's like they're hanging out by that, chinny chin, so to speak, out there. So Blood Red against Snake Eyes. Why would Blood Red beat Snake Eyes, Jason?
You said Blood Red's just about out of it. So I mean, in times like that, we've seen it in the NHL, and we see it in all of professional sports. When the pressure's off, when you know that not really, there's not to say there's not anything to play for, but when the pressure's off, then we see teams wake up, some teams love playing the underdog in the spoiler rule, so that's why Blood Red's going to win.
Okay. Can I add to that? I think go
ahead, add to it.
Blood Red they're always, when Tommy and Boris plays, and then they're always dangerous out there. So you can never discount Blood Red scoring. They can score goals. They've struggled to score goals too because teams have counteract whatever overall there. I'm supposed to defend Blood Red to win this game. Blood Red has scoring, so I'm going to go with scoring, okay? And before I pass over to Andy, I'll make one more point if I may.
Always.
I was over Snake Eyes. It's a bad matchup with Blood Red. It's just a bad matchup. Snake Eyes. I don't want to steal Thunder.
Well, I mean, that's what it is you have a Blood Red team that loves to score, and again, we keep coming back to this. Just defensive players who don't play the right defense. I could name names, but I've been told not to do that. But there are players on Blood Red who hang back at the defensive line, and they just don't understand how to play defense. They let the ball get past them. They take a wild swing rather than try to control the ball, and that leads to scoring the other way. And Snake Eyes, that is their MO. We've seen it at Sidwell. We saw it at St. Albans. They can't quite get away with it as much here just because there's so much space, but if they get a chance, believe me, they'll do it, which is to sort of clutter up the game. I talked about playing ugly, to winning ugly. I talked about the trap game. That's what they do. They trap you. They trap the ball, they get people around it, they take the ball, and they try to get those chances that come very rarely, but when they can take those chances, boy, do they ever take them. And they help John look good in goal. You've got players like Matt and David play back, and if they have the game, they can feed up front. Ron is a scorer. Phil is a scorer, assuming he can stay on his feet for the entire 45 minutes. You have, if Lindsay is there, there's the rare female scorer in this league. And against a defensive team that really does not understand defense. And by the way, I'm just going to say this right now. This is not about Blood Red, but this is about several teams. I have seen defenders at the point, when the ball is in the offensive zone, you're supposed to stay at the point. I have seen them stand 2-3 feet behind the line. Why?
Well, I'm going to jump right there, in that point out there. People are still learning the game. We're playing in a regulation side rink right now. People have to learn how to play the point. Excuse me here. Let me go to voicemail here. Go to voicemail overall.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, Mom's calling.
Gotta be smarter than the smartphone.
But I think, and I keep teams a bye here because a lot of teams don't know how to play in a regulation size rink in 5-on-5 positional hockey. I think Blood Red still is learning how to play 5-on-5 positional hockey in a large rink. It's not chase the ball anymore like it used to be at JCC or Sidwell or St. Albans. And I think a lot of people here, you're saying why? They don't know any better. They got to be taught.
But
it's a recreation rink, so we can't teach them too more.
Well, then let me teach you all right now this. All right? This is the yellow line right here. This is the yellow line. If the ball crosses that yellow line, remember, everybody's got to come out. You got to wait like 3-4 seconds. The other team has a free chance to steal it, and there's not much you can do. So if you're a defender and you're at the top of the line, stand on the line or maybe a couple of inches ahead of it. Because if the ball gets past you, odds are it's going to be icing anyway, because there's nobody back there. If you can cut the ball off, you keep the team on the offense, you allow everyone to stay where they are, you keep the pressure up. If you're standing a foot or two behind that line, and you know who you are if you do this, and you just whack it back in, you've just cost your team possession, you've stopped the play. You go to a face-off that's behind the, a face-off that's outside the zone, you have a 50-50 chance there. You've really just wrecked the momentum your team has. It's such a small thing, but it makes such a big difference, and it is so frustrating to see when I'm on the sideline when I see that.
Jason?
I will say, too, I think you bring up a good point about the size of the rink, this rink being a regulation size. I think Tacoma Park, where we played last season, the smaller rink,
anyway, yeah.
I think that helps teams that kind of maybe don't know how to play positions well, because you have less space to work with. So even if you're out of position, it's not nearly as damaging as at a bigger rink. So. I think with some time, the teams that don't really know how to position themselves, they will eventually learn that, especially when you get good leadership on teams and that are able to tell them,
and we will help them, Jason. We will help them. I think I'll talk to Molly about doing a clinic on that as well, too. Yeah. We'll do a clinic on positional hockey as well to help people understand that in 5-on-5, it's never chase the ball. It's you got to play your position in your zones.
Right.
And your winger, and people overcommit. And when Runner was struggling, you can see their players way overcommit on balls, and they're always 3-on-2 the other way around.
Right.
Poor Tom. By the way, if you look at stats out there, Who's the best goalie in the league? Goals against average and save percentage wise, it's not Tom, but shots per game. Tom faces unbelievable, like 28, 29 shots per game.
Yeah, and
Tom
bear in mind
is having a great year.
Yeah, bear in mind the league average is like 23.
Yeah, so I mean, poor Tom has basically did all he can to save Blood Red, but he's out there hung dry because players are taking too many chances. There's too many odd man breaks. He's seeing too many quality chances out there. He's having a great season overall, and I think you're right. We're gonna have to help some of these teams understand how to play better positional hockey, and that'll go through clinics in general, with new clinics overall as well too.
And that's why I'm saying the Snake Eyes are going to win this game, because they have defenders who understand that. But above all else, if your defenders are not prepared, then the Snake Eyes will defeat you. Now, we played the Snake Eyes in the crossover exhibition the first week, so I kind of have a feeling about this. You know, if you're not ready right away, then you got to have players right where you want them, and you got to be able to maintain the zone. You got to make them work on. You got to make the Snake Eyes work on defense to beat them. And Blood Red just does not make teams work. They are too anxious.
They're more of a flash and dash team than
and not just that, but they're too anxious. They look for they don't look for the best shot. They look for the first shot. I think there needs to be a little more patience there. They don't have it. This is why I think you asked me why I think the Snake Eyes will win. There you go.
And my personal opinion of this game out there, I think it's a tough game because I think both teams to me are negative trends. Snake Eyes don't score enough goals. Blood Red doesn't play enough defense or play position enough out there. It's a game I wouldn't pick with Jason's money out there. But you know, if I had to lean one way or the other, I would lean probably Snake Eyes because Snake Eyes are a little more disciplined than Blood Red is. I would lean because I think maybe they'll counterattack more. But it's a game that can go either way. One team will get a much needed victory here, hopefully.
We hope so. Yeah.
One team is reading as well too. I think I'm going to guess the Snake Eyes. That's my guess overall. It's a guess overall.
All right. Well,
that will do the week 6 preview, right?
Right, and we've been going for an hour here. We said a lot of things. We said a lot of things that we may not mean. We said a lot of things that are pretty crazy. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. You know, we're kind of wondering. We'd like feedback on this. I don't see feedback. Sud says he does. He doesn't share it with me. So I'm kind of curious, guys. I mean, am I doing this right? You know, I don't. This is honestly, and Sud will tell you, this was just.
This is Andy's brainchild.
Yeah. And I want to know that I'm doing it right. I want to know that I'm doing a service to all of you, that I'm doing something that you guys enjoy, that I'm not annoying you people. So, I mean, if there's any feedback, you know, when Suds posts this to Facebook, leave feedback.
Absolutely.
Please.
I mean, we always get feedback
Reply.
over there. And you know what? Honestly, I like where it's going. I think we keep it fun and training out there. You know, from that standpoint, I think it's good for the league. People want it. So if they want it, we'll keep doing it overall. Eventually, I like to not be involved in this and have somebody else do it. You know, I want to just take a step back from everything. So maybe it'll be you and somebody else. But again, I'm doing it because you and I are the only ones running all the games out there. Who else is qualified to do it besides you and I right now?
Well, the referees, but they have their own thing to do.
I don't think you know. And you know, that's why when I've refereed the last 2 weeks out there, I don't want to pick games because I don't want to give any impression I'm going there with a stereotype. I'm not. So I don't want referees to be involved because then people think, oh, they've got a bias one way or the other, which is total BS. Okay. But I think that's what's going on in that regards out there. Anything else? Closing point?
Well, like I said, defenders, learn where you are on the floor. Position is so important in this game, and so the things you need to learn on defense. Defense is so much more difficult in this league than it is in Tacoma or St. Albans or Sidwell. In Sidwell and St. Albans, and doubly so in Tacoma, defense was practically an option. Here, you absolutely need to do it. So if you're a defender, what you need to do is you need to be able to run back when the ball comes to you. You need to be able to find your position just in front of that line. You need to keep the ball in. You need to be able to prevent one-on-one breaks. It's a full-time job. It's a thankless job. You don't get on the score sheet. You probably don't get stars. But you know what? It's going to win the game, and you're going to beat. And your team will appreciate it so much.
You know what? Before you close up as well, too. Go close up right now. Check, please.
Check.
Oh, my bad. Well, I think we're good. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Can I just have a refill of this, please?
Yeah, of course. Would you like one or two?
No, I'm fine.
You're good? Okay.
And I'll close up as well, too. But I want you to close any points you want to make, Jason, because you're here. Anything else you want to go over? And your feedback or feelings about anything you want to talk about before we actually close the show here?
You know, just it's been fun. It's been fun. This is, you know, like I said, my second season here. Love the new venue, and you know, it's a rec league, rec/pro, whatever. Overall, it's a recreational league, and I'm real impressed with basically the attitude of everybody. Even if I feel frustrated during a game or whatever, you know, at the end of it when we're shaking hands, both teams are like, hey, you know, we got a little crazy out there, but you know, good game. So
There you go.
I've made a lot. I made some good friends, some good acquaintances here, and hopefully it keeps going. So just keep playing hard, and let's have fun, close out the season, all right?
Sounds good to me.
Thank you for being here. Just I appreciate that. My final couple of words. I want one thing I do want to say, and I was at a different place watching hockey on Monday night. Actually, on my day off. Watching some players.
Such as a day off?
Yeah, actually, well, not officially, but unofficially. I gave a shout out earlier to Carrie Opolsky. I want to give a shout out to other Carrie G, who I watched play on Monday night as well too, and watch her play overall on Sunday. Ladies, if you want to understand how to play positional hockey, you want a textbook version of it, go watch the Untouchables game against the 5-minute major and watch Carrie G play defense for the Untouchables. She understands how to play defense. She knows how to go to the front of the net, how to get position on people. She's not terribly physical out there. She'll know how to dump the ball in. She's got great hockey instincts. She knows how to play hockey very, very well. She's not a flashy, dashy player like I said earlier, but she's very, very underrated out there. So if you want a clinic for a female how to play defense and learn how to play defense, watch her on video. It's on the YouTube channel as well too. So give a shout out to Carrie G in that regards overall as well too. So there are people who know how to play very well. They do a good job as well too. We've got 2 more weeks left of regular season play on the June 2nd and June 9th. Rob will be back on June 9th, by the way, to take over officiating as well, too. We got the tournament this weekend as well. 2 more weeks to make a push for the final playoff. And again, the playoffs, we have a top 4 and a bottom 4 playoffs. Promotions always well, too. We're going to have a...
and just to remind you people, it's not that the top 2 go up and the bottom 2 go down. We want to make this perfectly clear. In the rec division, if you're in the top 4, not only do you have a chance at the cup, but if you were a finalist for the Division II Cup, you were automatically going up. On the pro side, those bottom 4 teams are going to play off in play-out games. 5th will face 8th, 6th will face 7th, and while there is something on the line for whoever wins this mini-tournament, the more important thing is the 2 losers of those first games are going to drop to the rec division.
That could be a 5th seed. So an 8th seed, that's why I designed it. An 8th seed can have the most horrible season in the world. But if they win their first playoff game, they're not getting demoted.
Right, they're safe.
The beauty of playoffs, you want to earn that right. That's why it's done that way.
Yeah, so. You don't want to have dead rubber games. That's never fun.
Exactly.
So, guys, you know what? There's all to play for in these last 2 weeks. Like we've said, in terms of the DCHL Cup and the Division II title, only 2 of the 8 playoff spots are locked up with 2 weeks to go. From our analysis, there are still 9 teams left for those last 6 spots. And out of 12, that's pretty good. So, guys, if you're out there, you're watching this, you're getting ready to play on Sunday, play hard because just about anything can happen.
You know what? And before you boys go silent here, one more last thing as well too. Have fun. 2 more weeks to go. Have fun. We have, and we also have tournaments coming up. Molly's got a tournament coming up in Seminary on June 22nd, and don't forget that we have Champion of Champions on June 30th. A lot of fun things going on. So
June 30th is going to be just a fun day. We're going to have we're going to have champions versus champions all around. We're going to have all-star games.
Yes.
We're going to have. I mean, I still want to get a team pro versus team rec game going, but I don't think anybody would be in favor of that other than me. So,
and don't forget, we want to say that. It's going to be Molly versus Suds in the All-Star game. Suds will coach one side. Molly's going to be on the other side. It'll be fun. We'll be the head coaches for our team out there. We'll divvy up the All-Star game. I'm not sure if we'll do MDHL DC. That's currently planned, but we'll try to do the best we can and divvy up the All-Star game.
And don't look. And I'll be the one behind the mic making fun of both coaches.
And then we have hopefully Neil and
I'll be doing
Rob Efring as well too.
And guys, if I'm doing the feature game, and you're on the bench, don't be surprised if I call you over. I mean, we've had fun with that this season. I want to thank Simon for taking time out during the second game to explain how he felt about his team's chances against Cobra Kai. He was a little pessimistic. Turned out this team played very well. Throughout the season, I've had John come by. I've had Suds come by. We had Sarah say a few words to the camera during the Chiefs game. We had Molly help me with the shootout. I want to help all of you guys just feel like you're involved.
Get involved. Yeah. Andy will come out and ask you a question. Get involved. It's fun. Have fun out there. That's what the league's about. League is about having fun.
Absolutely.
And playing. Winning isn't the end. Winning is just to be icing on the cake out there. Having fun is probably the most important thing out there. So thank you again. And Andy, is the voice going solid?
Well, first, let's on behalf of Jason Stika, on behalf of Suds, I want to say thank you. We'll see you June 2nd. And now, the voice is silent.
See you guys. I'll do this, but okay. Jason.
You're terrible.
I have it on this video, Chip.
You're a terrible person.
By the way, I'm gonna put this in there. Don't forget, the boy Toy is gonna be at the MDHL scrimmage. He's gonna be at the. He's just a sexy boy. He's your boy Toy, not mine. He's your boy Toy. So don't forget, he's gonna be at the DCHL Sunday tournament as well, too. Ironman tournament. Plus, he's gonna be with us for the baseball game as well, too. So, ladies. A chance to get a very hot man right here. Come on out, see us. Have a good one, guys. Take care.
Folks, this is what I deal with on a regular basis. Maybe 5 will get this, but there's never a barbershop window handy when you need one. The heck with this.